What is up, everybody? Today, we are doing part 2 of the NFL predictions by me. So, first, let's go over which ones did come true, though. So, of course, I remember about the Bills. I remember them being in the playoffs. I said they would be in the playoffs. They are in the playoffs now after defeating the 49ers yesterday. Now this game, the Chiefs, they were already in the playoffs. But I might go ahead and move the money bag up to the Bills because that did come true. I was wrong about the Chiefs, though. The Bills should have the money bag. They are currently division leaders. And none of the other ones have came true yet, but I would be surprised if they don't come true by the end of this week, at least one, possibly the Steelers or the Texans. But who knows? We will see. So first team of the video will be the Eagles. So we're starting off with a banger team. Almost a Super Bowl champion 2 years ago against the Chiefs, but sadly lost. So let's see if they can redeem themselves by getting close or even surpassing the Chiefs. So the first game we have is the Panthers versus Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to take the dub in this game, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because it's the Panthers. I ain't dumb. Bryce Young is a good quarterback, but it's just the rest of the team doesn't want to do good. So I'm doing the Eagles on that, which would make them 11-2. Once again, I've already said this, the Steelers are going to win against the Eagles. So I'm going to say they're going to get a loss here, which would make them 11-3. But then they're going to regain themselves by winning against the Commanders, making themselves 12-3. And then these last two games are going to win, so 13-14. So 14-3 will be the final record for the Philadelphia Eagles. So you're probably like, where is the picture, the NFL picture? Well, we're not doing that this time. We are still doing the picture, but it's not going to be like after every single team. It's going to be after every single division. So after the NFC East, for example, we're going to do one. So let's go on to the next team, which is the Washington Commanders. So the Commanders season has been on and off lately with a bunch of weird, crazy stuff happening. But let's see if they can try to catch up. So currently being 8-5, I think they're going to go 9-5 against the Saints. And then I've already said this, the Eagles will win against the Commanders, so that'll be 9-6. And then I think these last two games the Commanders can take, so 10-11, 11-6 being the final score for the Commanders, which could be a possible playoff appearance, but we'll just have to see. Next up, it's the Cowboys, which their season is pretty much in jeopardy after the complete losses in the past few weeks. Their season, I don't think, has a good ending, but who knows? Let's see. So with them being 5-7 currently, I think they're going to go 5-8 against the Bengals because Joe Burrow is a pretty good quarterback after what we've seen on Sunday against the Steelers, even though the Steelers still won. But I think the Cowboys will take a L, which will make it 5-8. But then they're going to regain, making it 6-8 against the Panthers. But then they're going to go on a little losing streak, which will make it 9, 10, and 11. So 6-11 will be the final score for the Cowboys. Now the Giants, they're already kicked out the playoffs, but I'm still going to go over them because some people in here might be Giants fans. So, yeah. So currently 2-10. I really don't got much to say about this. Besides, the Saints are probably going to beat the Giants, which will make them 2-11, 2-12, 2-13, 2-14, and 2-15. So I think it's going to be the final score of 2-14 for the Giants, which will be no good for them to get into the playoffs, even though they aren't getting into the playoffs anyways. So here's the final standings for the NFC East. The Eagles being number 1, 14-3. Commanders being 11-6. The Cowboys number 3 with 6-11. And the Giants 2-15. That's a pretty good standing. I believe everybody's pretty separated from each other. I could see 2 possible playoff teams here. But we're just going to have to see how the other teams do. So, yeah. So, the NFC West, an amazing but not so amazing division. So, the NFC West, as you see, they are so close to each other right now. But I want to see how their season's going to end out. And who's going to be put on top. Could it be the 49ers, the Rams, the Cardinals, or the Seahawks? Let's see. So starting off with a bang, the Seahawks and Cardinals go against each other, but I believe the Cardinals could pull off a dub here, making the Seahawks score go to 7-6. But don't get wrong, because we go against the Packers, which I believe this can go 7-7. The Vikings will probably be 7-8. The Bears would be 8-8, and then going against the Rams, I think will be 9-8. So this is going to be a pretty tough playoff opportunity for the Seahawks, but you never know. They could try something. Next up, we got Marvis Harrison Jr. and the Cardinals. So let's see how this team's going to work out. Being 6-6, I wonder how they're going to do. Currently, we start off with a win, which will bring it 7-6, and then another win, which will bring it 8-6, and then another win, which will bring it 9-6. But I think we're going to have a loss with the Rams, which will bring it 9-7. But then another loss to the 49ers, which will bring it 9-8. So tied. So next up is the Rams, which have not been that good of a team this season, but let's see how they can improve. So, being 6-6, I think this is going to go 6-7 against the Bills, and then against the 49ers, I think it's going to go 6-8 against the Jets. I think they can take a dub here and get it to go 7-8, and then 8-8, and then against the Seahawks, I think they're going to lose, which could make them 8-7. So let's see how that turns out. Now we got the almost Super Bowl champion that's last place in their division, the 49ers. Being 5-7 will be tough to come back, but let's see. I think they will take the dub here against the Bears, which will make them 6-7. Once again against the Rams, I think that will make them 7-7. But I think the Dolphins are going to take out the 49ers, which will make it 7-8. Same with the Lions, 7-9. And then I think they can get a victory against the Cardinals, which could be 8-9. So, pretty good score after all. Not playoff potential, but hey, maybe next year. So here we have it. In the NFC West, leading is the Seahawks 9-8. After them is the Cardinals 9-8. After them is the Rams 8-9. And then last place is the 49ers 8-9. So now we go on by far one of the best divisions right now. The NFC North. And the first team we're starting with is the Lions. So let's head on into the Lions. I think the Lions will take an easy victory against the Packers, making them go 12-1. Once again, I think they'll take an easy victory against the Bills. Maybe a little bit challenging, but it will probably be pretty easy victory, making them 13-1. Once again, this will be 14, 15, and then I think they might get a loss against the Vikings, which will make them 15-1. Our highest NFL team, 15-2, our highest NFL team so far. Next up, we have the Vikings, which are currently a 10-2 team. Let's see if they can beat the Lions. So 10-2 is pretty good in this NFL time. So let's see what they can do. So the Falcons, I think that's going to be 11-2. The Bears, 12-2. The Seahawks, 13-2. But this is when they start messing up. They will lose against the Packers, which will make them 14-3. And then the Vikings, they will win against the Lions, which will make them 15-3. So, 14-3. So, yeah. So, next up, we have the Packers, which have been decent this year. Currently tied with the Steelers. So, let's see how they go. So, the Packers completely starting off with 9-4, losing to the Lions. But they'll get 10-4, 11-4, and I think this is 12-4. Yeah, it is. No, it ain't, because it is. It is. And 12-4, and then 13-4. So pretty good the rest of the season for the Packers. Only one loss, and that's against the Lions. So good luck. And now we go to the team that's going to completely ruin the line. The Bears. 4-8 currently. So being 4-8, this will be pretty difficult. The Bears will lose, making it 4-9 against the 49ers. 4-10, 4-11, 4-12, and 4-13. So 4-13 will be their final score. And yep, all I gotta say is I'm sorry, Caleb Williams, you got drafted to the completely wrong team. You're a good quarterback, but the rest of your team completely sucks. So I'm sorry for you. So in the NFC North, we got the Lions 15-2, the Vikings 14-3, the Packers 13-4, and the Bears 4-13. So pretty good division overall, and I'm proud to see what they are going to be doing in the next season. Now off to our last and final division of my predictions, the NFC South, which is known as the kind of lazy division because they don't really want to do much. So let's see what the Falcons have to do. So 6-6 is probably going to be where they're staying. 6-7 for the Vikings. But I think during the Raiders game, they might actually score, making it 7-7, tied again. The Giants, 8-7. Then they're going to get defeated by the Commanders and get their score to go down to 8-8. And then, believe it or not, it's going to be 9-8. So they actually get higher than their low score. Now next, we have the Buccaneers, which was a former team of Tom Brady. So I'm happy to see what they do for the rest of the season. Now, the Bucs, 6-6. I think it's going to be 7-6 here against the Raiders. But then going against the Chargers, they're going to get completely destroyed, making it 7-7. Same with the Cowboys. I think they're going to get completely destroyed, and it's going to be 7-8. But they're going to regain, making it 8-8 against the Panthers, and then 9-8 against the Saints. So pretty good. Now, here comes the fun teams. The Saints, 4-8. So, being 4-8, I think they'll go 5-8 against the Giants, and they'll start going on a little losing streak. So, 5-9 and 5-10, but then 6-10, and then 6-11. So 6-11, the final score for the New Orleans Saints. So now we got Bryce Young's team, the Panthers. The team that really can't do much, but they try at least. That's what matters. So I don't even need to go through any of the Panthers games. We already know they're going to go lose every single game. So 3-10, 3-11, 3-12, 3-13, and 3-14. So, good job, Panthers. You tried this season, but it looks like you're going to get the first ever. Well, not the first ever. You did last year, but it looks like you're going to get the first pick in the NFL draft next year. Good job, Panthers. So now it's time again. I have to pick the teams that I think are going to be in the playoffs. So, first up, we're going to have the Eagles. Then, we're going to have the Washington Commanders. So, that's 2. Then, I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to have the chance. I don't want to put it right there. That's pretty harsh. The Seattle Seahawks will have a chance. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 here. The Lions. The Vikings. This is all the way up there. The Vikings. And the Packers will have the full-on chance of making the playoffs. And we'll probably make the playoffs. And then the Falcons. I know I said some harsh things about the Falcons, but I think they will have a chance. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But we also got to choose who's going to be the division leader. And I'm putting the money bag on the Lions. So that's currently it. I'm going to go to sleep now because I'm tired. This video was a long video just like the other one, but I will be putting these into a extended version after this one's posted, so you guys can just go watch the whole entire video in one. So yeah, see ya.